Okay, all right. So everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Torah. Baruch Hashem. I wish everyone a Shavua Tov and good Bach, and hope everyone had a wonderful Shabbos. And okay, so what a beautiful day here again in Eretz Yisrael. So nice, sunny, beautiful. Baruch Hashem. What a blessing we have that we're here, right? Okay, so we're going to learn now. We're learning in the Sefira Sfartem Lachem, in Yanadi Yom of the Sefira, right? Today we're on day 12, but we're going to do 11 also because that was yesterday, right? So we'll just catch up quick, do 1-2 minutes, all right? So that way we have a complete system. Okay, here we go. So yesterday's day was 11, right? And that was the day of Netzach Shebigvura. Right, Netzach Shebigvura, right? So Netzach, we know is Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Moshe Rabbeinu is Netzach, right? Right? And Gvura is Yitzchak Avinu, right? So you take two powerhouses, right? And put them together, right? Amazing, right? We need leaders. We're going to learn a little bit later in the Likutey Halachos. We need leaders like a leader that has Rachmanis, like Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Real compassion, not leaders that have compassion on themselves for their glory, right? All right. Anyway, so here we go. So he says like this: Yisbayna adam bedate b'masei Hashem yisbarach sheyesh bahem giloi v'aychocha liyesodos ha'emunah. Take a look at how HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to think about how HaKadosh Baruch Hu demonstrates. Right? How HaKadosh Baruch Hu demonstrates the Yesodis of Emunah. Look at it. He's going to explain. The main thing is that we come to fear Hashem. When you look around at the world, and you look around at how everything is running and everything is so meticulous and so beautiful in creation, right? You see it's meticulous. It brings you to the libam gava kari lasei sutzenias baruch, and it brings your heart to be strong like a lion to serve God. Okay, he's going to give you an example. Okay, Mamashamatzinu benachshan. When it came to Nachshan ben Aminadab, right? Shapol gevura benafshay. He was payal gevura in it by himself. Right? Nachshan ben Aminadab, right? You know who he was? He's the guy that walked into the sea.
Oh yeah.
He marches into the water, right? Right up to his nose, right? The Kafas Rishon Liyam. He was the first one that jumped into the Yamsuf, right? He was the first one. V'akol begoydel hasagosai, right? Esemunas habayis bar, because he really believed in Hashem. And he said it can't be that Hashem brought us out of Mitzrayim for these Mitzrayim to come and chase after us and to kill us. It has to be that Hashem is going to continue the mirror. And he jumped in. He believed it. He believed that Hashem runs everything so amazing. It can't be that this is the way the outcome's going to be. Okay, so Yosef, Gamu liyos mizbayne b'yesodis hamuna hamiskalim by. Okay, kedugmas masha nasan by Hashem yisbarach neshama lachi Yosef ve'ein b'koyach shum nivra l'asei zois. How about the fact that Hashem gave us all a neshama? Right, we have a soul. No living being can give a soul, right? They can create. They can. What do they do today? They clone things. Right?
Something.
Right? Yeah. But if they clone a person, they can clone a person? Did they do that?
A person is a soul.
No, but did they do that? That's the question.
There's a few people running around, I think, are clones. Or think so they can.
Clowns. Clowns, not clones, clowns. Ve'ein b'koyach shum nivra l'asei zois. V'zeu soid emunah sh'HaKadosh Baruch Hu boirei u'manik l'chol abrum. That's the yesod of our emunah, right? The foundation of emunah, that what? Hashem created everything and He controls everything. That's our emunah. Hashem created everything and He controls everything. Then we can also come to fear Hashem when we realize that Hashem created everything and He runs everything. Wow. We should come to do the will of God, right? Through us being mizbaineh, our emunah, through how Hashem created everything, how Hashem is running everything, can help us with have the gevura, the possibility for us to serve the Rebbeinu Shalom, in an amazing way. Okay. Now, let's do today's day. Today is Hayom Shneim, also Yom Shem Shavua Echad v'Chamisha Yomim LaOmer. Today is the 12th day. Right? Today is the midah of Hod Shebigvur. Right? So it's the midah of Aharon HaKohen. Right? The whole idea of Aharon HaKohen is Hod. Hod is from the word of Hodah, right? To give thanks. Always giving thanks and praise to Hashem. Iten aliba kilit tzarich yosei mashlim es midas es gevurosei al yitzrei. If you want to be mashlim the gevura and you want to be able to vanquish over your yetzer hara, yesh lahakdim l'tchaisei mayolav. You have to work on first pushing him away from you, right? You first have to distance yourself from the yetzer hara, right? Distance yourself. Uvazeh yasik shetia gvura yofa umadaras, right? Ki be'im yichnas atzmai b'masa matin oisai ad sheyamar damim b'nisayin imai. If you don't distance yourself from the yetzer hara, right, and you just jump in, so then he's so powerful, he's going to overpower you. Azaya gam sheyiskel iskaber, aval yizdakin sheyitzarich l'shem kach lahavsid es adorei ve'ev shegam yasigel b'zad nitzchan. Okay, in other words, you could do it like this. You could always understand it like this. There's also there's the bezayin aspect, right? In other words, I don't want to get involved in the yetzer hara because I don't want to be. It's an embarrassing thing. I don't want to get caught. I don't want to get caught. Right? The Yetzer Hara gets us in things. I don't want to get caught. So you can use these ideas in order to overcome the Yetzer Hara. Right? The Yetzer Hara tells you, hey, go do this. What am I going to do this? And when people find out what I did, how's that going to work out? Could you imagine that, right? No, but look at these ideas, these tachpulas that you can use. You can use such ideas. Okay, so in other words, really to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu is really the most important thing, and it's also the midah of gvura, right? The midah of gvura, right? So the midah of gvura is you have to come up with different ideas on how to overcome the yetzer hara. You have to always have ideas to overcome the yetzer hara. The yetzer hara is very strong, and you always have to work on overcoming and overpowering the yetzer hara. Yeah. It's not easy, right? Okay, he says now b'chol gvura shezaychel iskaber al taivis yitzrei. Anytime you can overcome and overpower your yetzer hara, v'hasig al yoda es kiyam rotzei ne'baris bach, and you are mekayim the rotzei of Hashem. Right? Every time yetzer hara is trying to get the better of you, and you outsmarted him. Right? You distance yourself from him, and you outsmart him. So thank Hashem for that. Thank Hashem that I was able to do that. Wow. And then you say like this, if not for you, Hashem, helping me, I can never accomplish anything. It's only because you helped me, Hashem. So thank Hashem. Here you go. So you use the midah of thanks to overpower the yetzer hara, the midah of hod shebigvura. Okay, that's a nice idea. I think it's a very nice idea. Right? Okay, so this is the idea. What?
Yes, right.
So in other words, anytime you overpower the yetzer hara, stop for a minute and thank Hashem. And you say, if not for you, Hashem helping me, I couldn't do this. Don't take credit. Don't pat yourself on the back. Give Hashem praise. Thank Hashem for helping you doing that. Okay? So let's go into now. Okay, so now we'll learn Likutey Halachos, and again, we always learn for the well-being of our chayalim and the chatufim, the captives and the soldiers, that Hashem should give them the siyata d'shmaya and protect them, that they should all be able to come home safely with their families without any kind of deals. Let them just do this. Let's just find them and do this. I'm always amazed how they're always able to find these guys in all other countries and kill them. Right? They always know they want this guy, and he's over here he's in this country or that country, and they know exactly how to go and get that guy. And they don't kill anyone else. They get that one guy, right? All the time. Right? They get that car with that guy in it, right? How is it possible they can't find our guys here?
These guys are buried underground.
Okay.
That's so easy.
Okay.
Probably, I don't know.
Yossi, is that amazing? They can find people all over the place, right?
Yeah, I think Gava does a point. This is very unique to try to do that. Tachlis, you can't.
Yeah, maybe they're not really trying. Maybe they're not really trying. Hashem should help us. That's all. That's all. We need rachamim from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what we really need. That's what we really need.
Some Pinchas attitude.
Yeah. All right. So let's go in Likutey Halachos, and we're learning now. We're going to start again. We're in Hilchos Kriya Shema. We're in Halacha Gimel. Okay, and then we're going to start Aleph again. So we'll, because we did a little bit of it on Erev Shabbos, but we want to get through because this is a longer halacha, and I want to make sure we understand this. Okay, so the Rebbe says over here, based on Torah, Inyan Kriya Shema Bepeh. Like you have the place right, the beginning of 3. Shetzrikin lohaitzi bepeh daike pamayim bechol yoim. You have to say at least 2 times a day, like we spoke about, right? Emuna sayichud hainu shema baruch shem ve'ein dai b'machshava b'leiv levad. It's not enough to think about it, right? You can't think it through, right? You actually have to say it. Say the words. Because even though we believe in Hashem the proper way, that we believe that, like we just learned, that Hashem created everything and He can runs everything. If you want to be Mekayim the mitzvah, if you want to fulfill the mitzvah, so then you're going to have to actually say the words. Got it? Okay? Hashemeya la'oznecha ma she'ata moitzi mipicha. See those words? Listen to what you are saying. Listen to what you're saying. Hear the words. Like we said, you have to be able to say the words that it's audible and loud enough that you can hear what you're saying. Not like in Shmon Esrei, right? Shmon Esrei, you say quiet. There's a whole thing. Here, everyone agrees. You have to say the words and hear the words. No, there's no disagreement on this. Everyone agrees across. You need to say the words, hear the words, and understand the words. Okay? Now, Aleph. Al pi ma shekosav Rabbeinu Zal. B'mam v'hi miketz ki merachim yenagim. This is a Torah in Likutey Moran. This is Torah 7 in the second part. It's one of the longest Torahs in Likutey Moran. It's a very, very deep and very, very complicated Torah to understand, because really it's understanding the whole point of how our thoughts work, how the mind works, how the thoughts work. Right? It's an amazing lesson. Rav Nosson is going to touch upon many points of the lesson as we go along, so we'll explain them as we go. Okay, with Siyata D'Shmaya, of course. Okay, now Behuva kvar kama pamim sheikar harachmanas hu lohaitzi Yisrael am kodesh me'avonos ki ze ikar rachmanas. Right, the main rachmanas in the world is to save a Jew from sin. Right. We think if you feed people and you clothe people, we spoke a little bit of Erev Shabbos, right? That's Rachmanis. But the real Rachmanis is when you teach the person that sin is no good, and you save the person from ultimate doom, right? The ultimate doom. right? If you're going to give someone, let's say you're going to give someone something to eat, so help them make if they don't know how to make a bracha, help them make the bracha, right? Do something, help them from sin. Help people from sin. Dahainu. Lohoya bohem ladas ki Hashem hu Elokim. Teach them that Hashem is Elokim, right? Teach them that Hashem is Elokim, right? People like to get so involved in their own problems, they think that they're so angry at somebody, right? I'm so angry at this person, he did this to me. But teach the person Hashem hu Elokim. It's really Hashem that set this thing up. It's not necessarily, you don't have to be so angry at this person. This is a test. Hashem is testing you, right? Yeah, it's ki al yedei adas hazeh nitzoyle me'avonos ki ein adam oivra aveira ela im kein nichnas by ruach shtus. Right, a person only comes to do a sin unless there's a sense of folliness comes into his mind. Something silly comes into his mind. He gets clouded over, right? He gets clouded over, and he doesn't realize what he's doing, right? The Gemara in Saita talks about that. And everybody has to work on this concept of helping people. We all know that we all can help somebody on some level, right? We all have families, we have friends, we have colleagues, clients, right? And whatever it is, we have customers, whatever you have. You can always work on helping somebody to help them to understand Hashem well like him. We can do that. We all can do that. Even a person, after he leaves the world and he comes to the next world and he's up there, so it's not good enough that he's only up there. It's not good that he's just up on the next world. You would think, oh, he went all the way up there, that's great. No. Even though he's up on high, he's still helping people down here in this world. He's still doing something in this world. Like we gave the example. I'll give you the example. So the Rebbe is talking about over there in that lesson that you can either have a child that continues your das, right, or you can have a student that continues your das, which is really one of the same. Because the Rebbe says over there, if a person doesn't have the das and he's not following the Torah the way he's supposed to, he's just a chaya, is a behema in the form of a person. He's not a person is someone that has das, that has knowledge, that understands what he's doing, that he's doing the right thing. He's connecting to the Torah, he's connecting to the purpose of his life. That's a person. But so long as the person isn't doing that, so he's a man, but he's not really. He's an animal acting like an animal in the image of a man. So now, if you have a child, so the other thing is, if you have children, you have to teach your children in order for them to go in the way of Hashem, right? And then they become children. If not, you're raising an animal, yeah, like you see out there in the world, a lot of that today, right? But the main thing is when you teach them information, so then, and they're doing the right thing, so then of course they come, okay. So that's how a person can be in the next world and also in this world at the same time. Right? Because the person could have left this world, but he left his children, students that are constantly following his das that he taught to them. So this way it keeps on going. It keeps generating.
That's something that he did when he was in this world. That's something that he did when he was this
He prepared it in this world.
Yeah. But once he's in the next world, how can he influence somebody in this world?
So we always say he should be a good beta, right? We always ask in the Shema, can do things. The neshama is davening for people down here. We know that. Even though they're upstairs, but we know there's things going on up there. For us down here, there's a connection. It's not like this world is disconnected from that world. You know, you can be in both worlds at the same time. Because again, if the father has a child and the child keeps going on with his das, so even though they buried his body, but his das is what makes him a person. So if he's following the das, the father's still alive in the world. He's not here, but he's here. You understand?
But
Yeah.
his soul,
Yeah, this is complicated,
His soul
this
is
lesson.
able to pray, but we're also taught that they can no longer do mitzvahs.
The soul can't do mitzvahs. The soul can't rise on its own. The soul can't rise on its own up on the next world.
Okay, so he rise by his legacy, by his.
But people down here, we can give money for tzedakah, do different things to benefit the soul.
Right.
When you say the Kaddish, right? You say the Kaddish, and people answer Amen Yehi Shmei Rabbah, that helps the soul.
But you said the soul could daven in Shemayim.
The soul can pray for other people down here.
Okay.
And it does.
Okay. Right.
Listen, there's sometimes we don't understand how some people came back, right? People were lost, right? And all of a sudden they come back.
Yeah.
How are they coming back? Could be there was a grandmother. Could be there was something that up in Shemayim that was praying for the soul. To Hashem, hey, help my grandchild, help my child here, right? And then all of a sudden things would turn around. We don't know.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you can be up on high and this world at the same time. Okay? When a person comes to a high level, look at this word, migushe offer, comes praise from the gashmiest things of this world, from the physicality of this world, comes to praise Hashem. People that are formed from matter, and they're praising Hashem. That's awesome. Hashem loves that. That's a praise. That's the greatest praise. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has all the malachim in Shemayim, they're praising Him. That's good. But when we can come to praise Hashem in this world, that's the greatest. That's the greatest. Because we're so entrenched in all of the stuff of this world. But when we can stop and turn to Hashem, that's an amazing thing. Right? That's what we learned. It's the idea of mincha also, right? It's in the week of Gevurah, right? So Yitzchak Avinu, right? The whole idea of mincha is the highest prayer. Why? Because mincha is in the middle of your day, right? Shachris, you daven early in the morning before you did anything. You come to Hashem. Ma'ariv, you daven at night before you go to sleep. But mincha is in the middle of the day, right? Mincha you can daven during the day. So that means you stop what you're doing during the day to praise, to daven to Hashem. You're stopping your day to talk to Hashem. That's amazing. You understand? That's the whole idea. That we're down in this world, we can praise Hashem. See the words that he says here? These are words out of that lesson in 7 in the second part of the Likutey Halachos. You have to place in this world bein utalmud, a child and a son. And really a son is a talmud, right? Teach your child. So your child is also your student. Right? You understand that? Your child is also your student. So your dad should be coming should be in this world. And now he says something amazing. Then you come to the idea of makifim. Let's understand what this is. What's makifim? So we know there's information we have that's pnimi, things that we know in our mind, information that we have is called pnimi. It's called inner. It's the inner information, things that we attained, that we have in our mind. Then we have makif. Makif is something that surrounds. It's not inside, it's outside. Makif. Now, when you give over teachings to somebody, right? You teach somebody something. So you're kind of emptying out your information by giving over the information to somebody else. So what HaKadosh Baruch Hu does is he fills your mind again with new information. That's how you grow. That's how you grow in your understanding. You give over information, right? Now that information that was to the other person, that was not his pnimi, that was his makif, right? The information you give to somebody else, that's the makif for the other person. That becomes the pnimi of that person. The person that gave it over, he gave over what was pnimi of his, so he now attains the next makif on his level. You understand? Everyone's growing. That's how everyone grows. So notice now, the understanding is like this. When you teach your child, so you're giving over your child your own das. You're giving over your information. It now becomes part of him. Your information now becomes part of your child's mind. It's in his mind. So now your child becomes one with you. Now when that will cause him to do mitzvahs, that'll cause him to do other nice things, good things. So that's how you could be in this world and the next world at the same time. Okay, we're going to explain a lot more. Okay. Shehem lemala me'azman, which are higher than zman. So the Rebbe goes on in that lesson also that in this world we have zmanim, right? We have times, right? We have days, hours, days, and weeks, and months, and years, and so on. But in the next world, there's no such a thing as zman, right? In the next world, there's no time. Time is something that was created in this world. In the next world, is haya v'viyah is all one thing. Right? Past, present, and future is all one thing going on at the same time. I know it's hard to understand that because we're finite beings and we're bound by time. Right? We're bound by time. But really, in the next world, we're not bound by anything. The next world it doesn't have the constraints of creation of this world. You understand? Okay, v'sham ikes seder hazman emu bechinas makifim, sheyesh makifim shehem bechinas yomim, v'yesh makifim shehem bechinas shonim. Right, there are some makifim that are yomim, there are some makifim that are years. In this world, we can understand like this. There are certain courses we take, right? Certain times you take a course, it's a daily course, right? You take a course, you understand the course, you got it, you move on, right? Then there's other courses that take a week. That they have to learn in school for a week. You have to take a course that'll take a week, right? Then there are other courses that tell you need a year, 2 years, 4 years, 8 years, whatever it is, right? There are times, right? Information is connected to time, right? You take a course, it takes whatever time it takes. You read whatever you read, it takes whatever time it takes. It's bound by time in this world, right?
What's the makif thing again?
Surrounding. Makiv is...
You all have them. They're around you right now.
Yeah.
And so as you're giving over some of your essence or some of your surroundings or some of your peace, it now goes into me. And so now all of a sudden, I guess my makifin changed a little bit.
Yes.
Right? And then yours change as well.
I change as well, yes.
That's the idea. And hopefully it's on a higher
That's how it works. That's how it works, yeah.
It's not like, oh, now you just gave over information.
No, I lost it. No. No, you don't lose. Everyone wins. Everyone wins.
Yeah.
Everyone wins.
Because you're teaching, you're learning more at the same time.
Yeah, okay, listen, let's stick to the lesson over here. I'm telling you, this lesson 7 is a lesson that you can spend years on studying to try to understand it. We're trying to just give it over. It's a long lesson. There are 18 parts to the lesson.
Okay.
Okay? All right, anyway. It's, I think, the longest lesson in Likutey Maran. Yeah, okay? Oh, it's up there. Okay. Tekufas hayamim, tekufas hashanim, okay, and so on. Bechinas, okay, v'zeh bechinas shefa hakeser. Keser is the highest of the spheres, right? Keser is the highest of the spheres. Keser. Right? Keser is something, a keser is a crown, right? Keter is a crown. A crown is over the head. right? The crown you wear on the head, right? So a crown is something that's really a makif, right? It's not part of the head, it's over the head, right? So this is connected to the idea that we were learning that there's a metzach harotzon, right? The metzach harotzon and the metzach ilah, metzach tata. There's a higher metzach and the lower metzach. The higher metzach is connected to the crown, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's crown, the keter, which is higher than the spheros, right? The spheros, keter. Okay? Watch what he says now. V'zeh v'tzarech sheyeloi b'chinas kol sheyuchel lahoyer b'darei mala u'b'darei mata. You have to be kol. You have to have all inclusive, so you can give over to the darei mala and the darei mata. We're going to learn what does it mean, the darei mala, darei mata. When you give over to people that are well learned, so the tzaddik gives over to the people that are well learned. He shows the people something that they had no idea ever existed, and they realize that they have to go higher. You understand? In other words, if the like, for example, the Balatanya, the Kedushas Levi, these tzaddikim, big tzaddikim, Rabbi Nachman, gave over Torah. They were sitting and learning with great people that understood a lot of stuff. They understood a lot. But when the Rebbe was teaching them, it was like, whoa, we don't know anything. We don't know anything. You understand? That's the Darei Mala. And then there's the Darei Mata. The Darei Mata is where he teaches, where the tzaddik also can go to people that don't really know anything and explain to those people that Hashem is with you as well. To be able to talk to high-level people and low-level people with no problem at all. La kol. See what he says? Bechinas kol sheyuchol lahoyer b'darei mala u'b'darei mata. Both high and low. Bechinas ki kol b'shamayim u'v'aretz. Look at the word. Look at the play on words. Ki kol, right? See the words? Ki kol b'shamayim u'v'aretz. You have to have the kol. It has to be your voice, kol, right? The voice, kol, you can look like that also, has to be all inclusive of Shemayim and Aretz. The Darei Mala is Shemayim, Darei Mata is down here, right? The Yachet Shemaya v'Ara, to unify both heaven and earth together. Again, you have to be in both places. You have to be up on high and this world. So when you give over the das, right, to your child, you're teaching your child what you know, right? So when you're sitting there teaching your child what you know, you give it over to him. That was your pnimi. You give it over to your child. That was a makif to him. Now that becomes his pnimi. Then your makif, that was something that you were trying, that you were grappling with to try this in. Now you could understand that. You understand? There's always something higher that we're trying to, that we know about, but we don't really understand. There's always something a little higher that I know that thing exists, but I just don't know it. Right? And then when you do know that, when you do sometimes, and that's a great feeling, right? When you finally understand something, right? It's a great feeling. Because then it becomes part of your pnimi. Right? And then you get another makif, something else greater. It never ends. It never ends. You get something pnimi, you give it over, now you get your next makif, you grow, and so on. And that's how everyone grows, because each one's helping the other one. Remember we learned the idea, every day you have to have a conversation you have to have both of this between you and Hashem, right? Because when you talk to Hashem, you're emptying out your mind to Hashem. Hashem fills your mind with new das. That's how both of this works, right? In other words, you give out your pnimi to Hashem, to a makif. Right? And then Hashem gives you over his pnimi. Did you understand? And then we have to have the conversation we said every day with what do you call it? With a friend of yours, right? Because every day we get a new light from that day. And when I give over my light to you, and you tell me over something from your day, I'm helping my pnimi, giving over to you. My makif then becomes your pnimi, becomes my and so on. Things keep moving along. You understand? Okay.
Is that why they say the teacher learns more than the students from teaching
Yes.
the students?
Yes.
That makes sense now.
That's where it comes from.
Okay. You raise yourself by raising somebody else.
And you could do that with anybody.
Yeah. Wow.
Anytime you give teaching is anytime you talk to your wife, you're teaching your wife something, you're teaching your children something, your whatever, your siblings, whatever it is, whoever you're talking to, friends, colleagues, whatever it is. You're talking over, you're giving them your information. So that's how the system works. You have a makif and a pnimi. Makif and a pnimi. It keeps going back and forth.
You know, there's a machine that can read an aura of colors that are around you.
Okay.
There's a Rabbi Zamir who is very popular. He has this machine, and he shows that when one puts on tefillin, he has a certain aura around him, of particularly purple, which represents more spirituality. And when he takes off the tefillin, it's not there. Okay, and that's the whole video on this. Anyway, Charles bought this machine. He's adamant. He wants to go around showing people that when you're engaged in certain spirituality, there's a makif thing.
Yeah, there's a makif, right?
That's around you. It changes. Some people have red, and that's not ideal. And you can see how things kind of change on your field. It's a very interesting machine. You can call it, say what you want, but that's how I'm thinking of it. Each time it's in constant.
Wonderful.
motion.
Yossi, if that's how you can understand it, that's great. Okay, that's great. It's an out there concept because we don't really. Psychologists don't even understand this. They think they understand the mind, so they have no idea what they're talking about. This is from the Zohar. This is not Rabbi Nachman's idea. These are the deepest concepts that we're studying over here.
So I'm sorry. So like there's two very good points here, which is like you're saying there's makifin, which is hey, I'm able to transfer that from me to you, you to me.
Pnimi makif.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's one, and then two is this Shemayim and Aretz concept, where I guess it's all one, but I need to be in both places.
That's how you could be in both places. I'm trying to explain. Let's do it again. Okay, as you teach your child, you teach your student. Your child and your student can be able to be one. You gave over your information to your child. Right? That's the whole idea of the Pesach, right? The Igadata Levincha B'Yoyim Ahu. Right? What do? We were giving over the information to our children. That's the whole point. This is the point. This is the point. You're giving over to your child. You're giving over your das. So now your child is going to keep doing that. Gets your ideas. You understand? Gets your ideas. That's why the whole idea is that, but the Yitzhar is today that the children will tell the parent all the Chidushei Torah, right? The children today come home and tell, but not the father doesn't have anything to say. Because it is. There's the whole idea is Vishinamtam Livanecha. Teach your child. Teach your child. So that way your das is now part of your child. That means after 120, when you leave this world and your child is going on, it's as if you're mamish in this world at the same very time. Do you understand that? Because your information is all, that's what's alive.
Okay, like a Rebbe, he's in Shemayim right now. Or the Babish Rebbe, he's in Shemayim.
Reb Nosson is in Shemayim, and he's down here.
He's down here right now. That's how you do it.
That's how he's doing it.
That's how the tzaddik can guide us.
Yeah. Their das is alive in the world. It's alive in the world. Yeah. Okay. 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 The Yachid Shmaya Ba'ara. Okay. Now, Laharois Lidore Mala. To teach the upper echelon of people, right? The upper echelon of people. She'ein yoidin klal ba'asagasa yizbara. Right? Again, Rabbi Nachman gave over the Torah to Rav Nosson. Rav Nosson was an Eloi. He knew everything. He knew all Torah. Rav Nosson studied both Torah's Nigla, Nista, he understood everything. But when he was sitting there with Rabbi Nachman, and Rabbi Nachman was teaching him this lesson, he was like, whoa, I don't know anything. Right? I don't know anything. It's amazing, right? What do you see? What do you know? Right? He shows them. You think you know everything. I'm going to show you don't know anything. And then there's another route, because the tzaddik understands that he's one with Hashem, like Moshe Rabbeinu, right? He was with Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Moshe Rabbeinu understood he was one with Hashem, right? So Moshe Rabbeinu was able to teach Torah to everybody in that way. Okay, now, Malchus. Okay, ulehepech ledori mata hamunachim lemata meoid laharis lahem shashem imam ve'etzlam ki meloi chalaretz kevoda. So in other words, on one hand, he takes the great guys, right, the great tzaddikim, and he shows them, you didn't get anywhere yet. You still have a lot more work to do. You guys have a lot more work to do. See, because look, I'm a human being too, the Rebbe shows him. And look how much more I know than you know. So you have a lot more work to do. Okay? Then he goes to the guys that don't know too much. And he gets them he raises them up. How do you raise them up? Hashem is everywhere. He's even with you. You understand? So in other words, he has to pick the lower ones up, and he has to lower the upper ones down. You understand? It's fascinating. Like the idea that it says that it'll get up those that are shaykh ne'afar, right? Will get up and sing to Hashem. This is the idea of the Bain and the Talmud. This is the idea of the child and the student, right? Which we said really is one of the same, because your child could be your student, right? Your child can be your student. Okay,
He's also going to be your teacher.
That's possible too. Now look what he says. Now here we go. Ki bechinas isplaklaria hameira isplaklaria she'enoi meira. Here's another new concept. Okay, isplaklaria is like a mirror that's clear, and isplaklaria she'enoi meira that's not clear. You ever look into a mirror sometimes and it's like foggy, and you can kind of see something, right? You kind of see it, but you don't really see it that clear, right? You understand, right? And then sometimes you see a mirror, it's clear. You see it very, very clear. Moshe Rabbeinu was the Navi that was known as the Isplaklari Me'ira. He was known as the Navi that saw things in the most clear way. He didn't have his vision when he was asleep. Moshe Rabbeinu was awake. All the other Nevi'im had their vision in night. Right? Different. Moshe Rabbeinu was different than any other Navi. No other Navi was like Moshe Rabbeinu. No other Navi.
He was outside of Eretz Yisrael.
And what?
And he was outside.
That was another Chiddush. That was another big Chiddush. Right. That was another big Chiddush. Right. Okay. So we got that. So there's the idea of the Esplakari should be okay. V'tzarich lichlol ha'elamais elyon betachtain me'elyon. You have to take the lower worlds and bring them up, and you take the upper worlds and bring them down. Okay, we were studying this concept before. We were doing about the tefillah, right? Every day we go from one world to the next world in our tefillah, and then we have to come back down to this world, right? So we're bringing this world up, and then we bring the upper worlds back down, right? So same idea, right? That's how Nosson is building on this. He takes one concept and he shows you how this concept really goes to everything else as well. Okay, Kadei Sheyeh Lahem Yira, so that way they should have Yira. Right? So they should have the fear to recognize, like we learned in the Sfatim Lechem just a moment ago, the idea that really Hashem created everything and Hashem is running everything. To have that das, Hashem Hu Elokim, right? Hashem Echad, right? To have that emunah, in the oneness of Hashem, right? To have that emunah in that oneness of Hashem. It's an amazing thing. Al Yidei Klolius Beinu Talmud, Al Yidei Zeh Zeicha La'aras HaRotzim B'Shas Achila. How do you like that? That would go into something else totally, right? But this is part of lesson 7. This is part of lesson 7, right? Where the Rebbe shows like this, when a person sits down to eat, right? So there's different ways that people can eat this, right? This person can sit down and then he can just get into his meal, eat his meal, and enjoy the meal, and that's it, right? But there's other people that can sit. I don't know if you ever sat and you sat with a tzaddik and you watch a tzaddik that eat. Did you ever see that? You ever get to be with? No, you never saw that. Okay.
I heard Laser Brody explain what it was like to eat with Rabbi Arush.
Yeah.
Thanking him for the salt shaker, thanking Hashem for the salt shaker, thanking for the fork. He said, just thanking for every little, thank you for the chair.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's also. But then when they realize, when we make a bracha, when we make the bar in the fashos, right? You ever think about that bracha? Right? You ever think of that bracha? Right? We make it so quick sometimes, but we ever think about the bar in the fashos, rabbis v'chesrinan. Al kol masha brasa lahachiyos ba'am nefesh kol chai. Right? So what is this? What in the fashos? What is this? A tzaddik understands that in his food there's a lot more than just the food itself. There's so much more. There's worlds in the food itself. How Hashem made these things and the fashos that are part of this food. There are souls in the food. There are souls in the food. Right? Borei nefashos rabbis. What's he talking about? Right? We just say the words, right? Did you ever think of that?
That makes sense. That influenced me when I think Rav Arush wrote this also, this idea that what you eat becomes part of you.
Yes,
and
you are what you eat.
And so
you are what you eat.
So to speak, if I ate a pig, for example, I mean, I become a pig, but even more than that, if I eat, let's say, a kosher cow.
Yes.
Right, but this cow was grazing in someone else's field without the owner's permission. And
That's a problem.
Turns out it's a problem. But I just remember that concept. I read this in Breslov Efrat when I first started reading, and that's a problem. That's correct. You have to know where these things come from and understand the sensitivities that go on. So yes, the art nefashot.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things going on in the food. Kolis beinu Talmud ayadei la'aras harotzon b'shas achila. So you can come to the ha'aras harotzon. Look, you see with the words? You can come to la'aras harotzon b'shas achila. You can find the rotzon Hashem in your food. It extends down even into your meal. In ha'aras harotzon, right? Hashem wanted you to have this piece of meat that should come to your plate, right? That when you went to the store, right? That when you went to the store to buy that piece of meat, right? So he worked it out in Sheshis Yemei Breishis that this cow is going to be alive at this time, right? And you're going to be in this place with this cow, and then you're going to come to that store and buy that piece of meat so you can eat that piece of meat, right? And the same thing with everything else. Apples and oranges and whatever you can eat. If you eat vegetables, right? Right. So whatever you can eat, that you came to that place that you need to consume this thing at that time. It's fascinating, right? The rotzah, right? La'aras harotzah b'shas achila. Bebechinas ke'esia yomer liyakiv liyisol ma po'al kel. Right, at the end of time, this is who said these words? You know who said these words? Bilam. These are the words one of the words that Bilam said. But at the end of time, ma Paul kel. What did Hashem? This is connected really with Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu when he went to Shemayim, right? Moshe Rabbeinu when he went to Shemayim, and Hashem showed him that Rabbi Akiva was darshaning the crowns on the letters, right? So Moshe Rabbeinu said, wow, who is that? Oh, that's Akiva ben Yosef. So he says to Hashem, why doesn't he give the Torah? Why am I doing it? I don't understand the thing he's saying. I can't understand. I don't understand. He's darshaning halachas out of the crowns of the letters, right? The whole idea that we have crowns on the letters is halacha l'Moshe Misinai, right? We know that, right? It's halacha l'Moshe Misinai that when the Sofer writes, he writes and he puts the different crowns on the letters, right? So now Moshe Rabbeinu is up in Shemayim, And Rabbi Akiva is darshaning, because again in Shemayim, you have Haya, Hayve, V'yiyas going on at the same time. Right? So that's how he's seeing. Because in Shemayim you can see everything. Everything is clear. See, in this world we only see what's presently going on. We don't know what happened. We don't know what will be. But in the next world, why is everything so clear? Because everything is going on at the same time. There's no difference. There's no segments. It's all one thing. So Rabbi Akiva sees, Moshe Rabbeinu sees Rabbi Akiva, Darshani. So he says to Hashem, why doesn't he give the Torah? So Hashem says to him, no, it's your job. I want you to give the Torah. So Moshe Rabbeinu says to Rabbi Akiva, to Hashem, can you show me what's his reward? Can you show me what Rabbi Akiva's reward is?
Well, yeah.
Can you show me that? So Hashem shows him that the Roman is raking his flesh. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, Zu Torah, Zu Schaira. This is your Torah and this is the reward? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to him, Shtoik. Don't say another word. Don't say another word. You don't understand, we don't understand the ways of Hashem. We have no idea at all. But on that alone, there was, I don't know how many pages written on that to understand that concept, that idea. You heard that before, right?
I heard it, and it could be that it's also, I mean, there's a Gemara that tells that story. I heard it that it wasn't Moshe Rabbeinu, it was, he was meaning the guy, his Talmud that was there.
No, it was Moshe.
Screamed out, hey,
it was Moshe Rabbeinu.
Moshe Rabbeinu was the one.
Yeah, no. This was in Shemai. No, later also they said Zu Torah, Zu Schaira. Yeah. But again, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. In Shemayim, there's no difference between past, present, and future. You understand? So it's all going on at the same time. And his student is screaming out the same thing.
Right.
But there's no difference. It makes nothing, it's all going on at one time. But Hashem says, Shtoik.
For one of disgusting, wow, what's this guy's reward? Okay, I'm going to show you. You see the guy being raped and
Again, this is in, let's think about this.
I know.
This is in Shemayim. Moshe Rabbeinu again was that man that was in Shemayim.
Yeah.
Okay? and the Satan, we said, was trying to understand, like, what's he doing? What's this guy doing in Shemayim? Yeah. Like, what's he doing over here? Remember, that's what we learned about the Ketores the other day, right? The Ketores is so amazing because we got the Ketores from the Satan himself. He said, "This is what can stop me." Right? Remember we said that? Oh, you weren't here. Right? Moshe Rabbeinu was up in Shemayim, and the Satan was like, "What's he doing here?" So the Satan said to Moshe Rabbeinu, "Since because you're able to be in Shemayim, I want to give you a present. You made it so great. There's only one thing that can stop me, and that's the Ketores. And that's why you see when we had the plague going on there, what does Aaron do? Moshe Rabbeinu told Aaron, he takes out the fire pan with the Ketores each time, whenever there's a plague going on, right? Okay. Malchus mekabelas hapanosa me'ayadayim sheyesh bayam hachokma. Here we go, another one. Here we go. So you can be mekabel the Malchus. The Malchus is down in this world, right? The Malchus is the lowest, but it's the highest, right? Malchus is both the lowest and the highest, because Malchus is the lowest of the spheres, but it accomplishes all of the spheres, right? So what is this idea? Meyadayim sheyesh bayam hachokma. So Rabbi Nachman this is also part of lesson 7. So there's the idea that there's a Yam HaChochma. It's a Yam HaChochma. The Torah is the Yam HaChochma, right? It's this ocean, right? The sea of wisdom, right? It's a big sea of wisdom, right? Mi'adayim sheyesh b'Yam HaChochma, right? So that when a person understands, right, when he understands that whatever he's earning, right, in this world, whatever I'm earning in this world, is really the Ratzon Hashem, right? It's really the Ratzon Hashem, right? Because we keep saying like this. We keep saying that the whole idea, the Birchas Kahanim we learned a couple of weeks ago was Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. Remember that? Remember? Yeah. Yivarechecha Hashem. Hashem, you should bless me v'yishmerecha and save me from the ideas of the Yetzer Hara that's telling me I have to work so hard. I need to work so hard. If you work hard, you'll make more money, right? The harder you work, the more money you'll make. But when I understand that, when I have that emunah, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, right? When I understand that, when I have that emunah and the Ratzon Hashem, so then I understand that my parnasa only comes to me by the Ratzon Hashem. The more I involve myself in the das of Hashem, in the Yama Chachma of Hashem, is the greater more my parnasa I'll have. It has nothing to do with how much I'm working. I know it seems very strange, right? Because the Western world tells us the more you work, the more money you'll have, right? But does it always work out that way? Doesn't always work out that way, right? I remember you said, Reb Simcha, that you were worried when you'll keep Shabbos, you'll make less money, and then you made more money. You made more money. See that? See, they made more money.
Me too.
You see that? Here we go. 2 testimonies.
I made more than I even thought I would. Working, it's like I didn't realize I could make that much money with the effort I was putting in.
Right. You did what?
I didn't realize I could make as much money that I didn't make any money. Hashem blessed me with more money than I even imagined I could be blessed with.
Yeah.
Like Rabbi Riskin says, he never imagined that Efrat could grow so much. He was blessed with Efrat growing so much. It was way beyond what he even thought or tried to do.
His expectation, right? I think that's what he says, right, Yossi? He says that Efrat grew to much more than he ever expected, right? Yeah, it exceeded his expectation.
It's nice when that happens.
It's very nice. It's right. So, but again, me'adayim sheyesh b'yama chachma, right? When the yadayim yesh ayin sham kol zeh. Hate to see this whole lesson. We're going to learn a lot more about this lesson. We're going to learn a lot about more of this lesson over here through halacha gimel. There's so much more to learn. We had a couple of just to review a little bit, okay, from today, okay. So we started off by saying that you have to both be in this world and the next world at the same time. And then we explained, well, how do you do that? You do that through the das, right? We said a person is a person only because he has das. If the person doesn't have das, then he's no different than an animal, or a domesticated animal, or a wild animal, right? The less das he has, if he has a little more das, then he's a domesticated animal. If he has less, then he's a wild animal, right? Like you see in the world today, right? We see that, right? But the more you refine the person with das, right? That's what makes the person, the more you refine the person with das, the person becomes more of an adam. So that's how you can take your children, they become your children, and also your students, because you're giving over the information to them. So you're taking what was pnimi in your mind, and you're giving it over to them. That this was something they were understanding, they had a little idea about, something. Now you give it to them, they have clarity. Right, you give it to them. They have clarity. When they have clarity, the father emptied out his information and gave it over to the child. Now his information becomes one with the child. The same way when you eat food, right? The food becomes you. You are what you eat, right? So your knowledge is the same thing. Becomes one with the person, right? With the thoughts. Right? The thoughts is what differentiates us from an animal, right? Animals don't have thoughts. Or maybe they have some kind of thought, but they can't think the way a human being thinks, right? Right? We agree with that? I don't know, maybe animals do have some kind of thoughts, I have no idea, but either way, there are some people that could probably tell you that, I don't know that, but people are the ones that have to have the knowledge, okay? So when you give over the knowledge, and that's how he says you have to both be in this world and the next world at the same time. That's how you could do that. Because even when the person leaves this world, and he's in the next world, but he kept giving over. He kept giving over in this world. For example, he set up a fund where people are being fed, right? He set up a fund that people are being fed, and people are teaching Torah, right? People are learning Torah, which is giving over his das in this world. So he could both be in the next world, and he could be in this world, because people are following his das, right? He gave over information, and that's alive in the world. So he's both alive in this world and the next world at the same time. We understand that, right? Okay.
It's like George Washington, the independence. No, I mean, when they created the independence.
Okay, I don't know where George Washington came from.
Well, I was just thinking, they created.
He knocked down the cherry tree.
Isn't that
right? That George Washington was going to knock down the cherry tree, cut down the cherry trees?
All right.
Yeah.
He's talking about it, then he comes back again and says, one attains an illumination of the desire during eating.
Yeah. Yeah, the desires of Hashem, connection of Hashem.
Connection to Hashem.
While he's eating. The same way, like we said, that the information becomes one with the next person, right? And the food now becomes one with you as well, right? You become what you eat, right? They even say that, right? You are what you eat. Right? You are what you eat. Now, if you are what you eat, that's what we're trying to say. So you realize where the Ratzon Hashem is. It was Hashem's Ratzon that you have this food now. And I have this sandwich now. It's not the next one. I didn't get that other one. They gave me the one I needed.
So that's what Moshe found with Akiva. Rabbi Akiva built on what Moshe.
He was building on, yeah.
Built on it. So Moshe
his Torah.
said, where'd that come from? Hashem
It came from you.
Really, you know.
It came from you. And he had no idea.
Beyond his expectation.
And he had no idea. No idea. So much so he says, why don't he give the Torah? No. You gave the Torah. It's your Torah. It's Torah's Moshe. And this is what's going to come out of your Torah.
Yeah.
This is what's going to come out of your Torah. So that's how Moshe Rabbeinu is in the next world. But of course, he's in this world at the same time. So to all the tzaddikim and so on. And so to every time a parent leaves the world, right? When a parent leaves the world and the child goes on and he follows the ways of his father, he follows the ways of his mother. So then the father and mother are still alive in this world at the same time. Okay, we're going to learn a little bit more about this. It's an amazing concept to really understand the pnimi and makif. Pnimi, makif. This idea. Inner information that's surrounding information, then that becomes his inner information, and then my surrounding information changes because I emptied it out and I get a new pnimi, and so on. So we'll learn more about it in Mitzvah Hashem. We need a lot of siyata d'shmaya because this is very amazing stuff. Okay? Everyone's okay with it? We're okay today?
Beautiful. Thank you.
Everyone should have a wonderful day and should hear Besora Tovot.